So we follow Trevor's story with a stroll through a vineyard, Bitner Vineyard here in Caldwell, Idaho. And I had a chance not only to taste some great wine that has won some world recognition, but also to talk to Rob Bitner. And his story is amazing. From bees to a trip in Australia and back to wine and how those all fit together, and his integration into the wine community here in Idaho, but also the community at large and what he does academically and through scholarships. So you're going to want to watch this.
Yeah, he's done some amazing work.
Well, Idaho is known as the gem state, and it's had some hidden gems, but we are here to talk about some not so hidden gems anymore, which are these babies. Idaho grapes and Idaho wine. The wine industry is coming back with a vengeance. It's been around since the 1800s and it took a hit during the Prohibition, but now we're here at the Bitner Vineyard to talk to Rob Bitner about his award-winning wine and what Idaho is doing in the wine industry. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. So this is the final harvest basically going on.
Of the season.
Of
yes,
the season,
yeah.
right, not the final harvest, but the final harvest of the season. So where are we at in your vineyard right now?
So this is the last red grape that we pick, and that's our Petit Verdot.
Okay, so you didn't start off in winery,
No.
right? So you started off with bees. So tell me a little bit about like where you started.
Well, I had finished my, I went to College of Idaho, off to Purdue on a master's degree on the bees of Indiana, and then I came to Utah State to work with the USDA on a little bee called the alfalfa leafcutter bee. And it's a bee we use here in Idaho a lot for alfalfa seed production, but that bee took me all over the world, took me to Australia for 10 years. While I was in Australia, I fell in love with their styles of wines down there. Their first winemaker, Bill Broach, was building his house below me at the same time, and I knew nothing about
You knew bees.
I knew bees, you know, drank a little beer and some wine, but Bill explained to me why our site at the house there, overlooking the Snake River, was a world-class site. And he told me for Chardonnay, and I remember telling Bill, I said, well, so what's Chardonnay, Bill? And so,
That's fantastic.
but it's turned out to be a world-class site for Chardonnay and our reds. And so in 1995, I had a phone call from a young gentleman, Greg Koenig, and up until that time, most of my grapes had gone off to San Chapelle, but Greg was starting a new winery just down below us. We struck up a business relationship and have been friends ever since. Greg started making wines for me in 95, 96. I think it was the 97 Cabernet. He called me up and said, Ron, I entered this Cabernet grapes from you that I made into a competition in New York State, and we got a gold medal. We're like, wow, that's cool, you know, because we had anybody telling us, oh, you're making great wines, or
Right,
no way
no
to
measurement
judge.
stick.
Yeah, there was no measurement.
And the wine lovers love it all.
Yeah,
right?
they do. And but later that year, that 97 Cab, I think it was, went into the Jeffersonian competition for best agricultural products in America that year, and it won an award there.
Wow.
In Virginia. We started, there were, I don't know, 4 or 5 wineries in Idaho. There were 2 when I planted the grapes, and but within the last 10 years, with the help of the Wine Commission and an influx of new young winemakers, we're 50, 55 wineries right now. It's a $170 million industry in the state. And I give the start of this industry, I give full credit to the Sims family. San Chapelle was built by the Sims family. They've later sold it, and they farm 400 or 500 acres of wine grapes.
One of the key components of the success of Bitner Vineyards is they give back to the community through a scholarship program designed for their workers here to continue their education.
I just want to say a little bit about our workers, and because people don't realize what goes into making that glass of red wine. And
Right.
it starts right here.
A labor
with
of
this,
love.
It is.
Yeah.
And so we're especially most proud of our scholarship for some of the kids we've helped put through the College of Idaho.
So what is the scholarship called?
Well, it's called Taste of the Harvest,
Oh, nice.
because we started a,
Now, is it for a specific field?
no, they just have to be children of Hispanic workers.
Okay.
So, and we've put 3 kids through there completely. One of them is about to finish her degree. She can be a medical doctor. She's a nurse practitioner now. Another one's working
That's
on it.
fantastic.
And that's what we're most proud of, is giving back to these kids of these workers here. Yeah.
I think that's what makes Bitner so special too is, I mean, it is family.
It is, yeah.
And it's kept small. But I think when you do that containment, you produce amazing results, and you're giving back to the community at large as well. Okay, one for me, one for wine. One for me. These are so good. But you know what? I think I need to hold off, because the best part is going to be with the wine. So are you ready to join me? I'm going to take some wine. Let's go. Okay, so here we are. We're in your beautiful tasting room. Now, this wasn't always a tasting room.
It used to be our tractor shed 8 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, you would never know it. I feel like I walked into Little Italy here. It's really beautifully done. And you've won quite a few awards. I can't even appreciate these to the level. So tell me a little bit about these.
Well, that was our 97 Cabernet that Greg Koenig made, and it was under his label, but it was a single vineyard designate, which said Bitner Vineyards on it. But he sent that off to a competition in New York, and he called me up after the event and said, we got a gold medal. And we're just kind of looking at each other like, wow, from Idaho, a gold medal in Cabernet. And so that was the very first one that really put us on the map.
Yeah, it places Idaho on the map. I mean, you guys have really paved the way. This recognition is a big deal. It's a big deal in the industry, and especially for Idaho.
We are the new frontier for wine grape growing. Yeah.
Right, which is great. I love it. I love it. What a great industry. Well, I love wine. I don't know a lot about wine, so I'm ready to learn a little bit. What are we starting with?
So I want to try a couple of reds with you, and this is it's kind of a cult wine out here that my wife came up with, and that's
a cult wine. Okay.
Menopause Merlot, and it's a nice Merlot. It's won awards, won a bronze medal a year ago in San Francisco.
Okay, so we're talking about the community that you've really created. Almost a culture which includes your family, giving back to the community, the B&B, the business. The people who work for you, the employees. Tell me, where do you see Bitner Vineyard 5 years from now or 10 years from now? What's your vision?
Well, it's funny you ask, because Mary and I wake up in the mornings and having just turned 70, do we have an exit plan? No. I realize, having done this for 35 years, I do know a lot, and I want to pass as much of that on to our kids as I can.
One of the best attributes regarding Bitner Vineyard is that they're environmentally conscious. They really work in harmony with the world around them. I think one of the things you really do different is how you develop wine, and part of that is your certifications.
Currently, mine is the first and still the only live certified vineyard in Idaho.
So what does that mean?
Live stands for Low Input Viticulture and Enology. It's a third-party certification out of Oregon that's recognized around the world. My vineyards are inspected every year. They look at all my records that I use. If I had to use chemicals, were they very soft? Do I take care of my beneficials? Do I take care of my bees? Do I take care of the soil? I think consumers are starting to demand those kind of wines, that we're leaving our land in a better spot than when we came. For me to take my educational background and my years of experience, it's fun, but I want to pass that knowledge on to some of the other wineries and winemakers. What
I'm seeing and learning is, there's not just a science and not just a method, but it's truly like care and passion. I mean, care of the community, care of the land, this overall bigger picture, and I think that is really like the core of your success.
Absolutely.
But I think you're also setting an example for the future in agriculture too here, the way to do it right. It's not just about the organic label. There's a better way as well, ecologically, with bees.
Bees? Yeah, just taking care of the land.
So if people want to be part of your wine club, how do they find out more about you?
Well, right now, I would just say come visit the winery and spend time with us and sign up for our little wine club. We're small, but we focus on wine club members. Really, it's right now we're approaching 200 couples who belong to our wine club, and a lot of our wines are very limited. They're the only ones that have access to it.
I've really enjoyed spending the day with you.
Oh, it's been fun to have you
out here. Yeah, and I'm really impressed by the way you've done things here. You've set the bar, you've set the standard,
Thank you.
And it's great. It's really great. Yeah. And great wine.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers.